All right, man. We've just got some pretty crazy news, pretty disappointing news, yet I guess I can understand where this is coming from. And we already kind of figured that this was going to happen anyways. I already had it in my head that this was going to happen. All the signs pointed to there being some problems that were going on with NomNom. And so now we've actually gotten a complete statement. This actually got shared, I think, a day or two ago over the weekend. But let me switch my camera around real quick to my desktop. But to the NomNom community, we have been receiving a lot of messages and questions regarding the fulfillment of our Kickstarter, which ended in March of 2024. It was originally our hope that we would have this entire project completed and sent out before August 2024, followed by several other pushback dates. However, due to several factors, we were unable to deliver on our original and backup dates. So what factors could possibly cause so many delays? Let us lay it out for you to the best of our ability. Please keep in mind that these are not excuses. They are simply the reality of all the events leading up to this point. We apologize in advance for the long read, but this is necessary to give you all the information you have been asking for. So Kickstarter is meant to fund startups. That's us, a startup. The world of NomNom and NomNom versus IP has been in development for many years before they were ever brought to the public eye. And when they finally were, we had a very successful run of prototype sets followed by a successful Kickstarter campaign. However, this never meant we were yet technically an established company that has been doing this for decades, set up with a printer and production team that can anticipate our every need. You cannot simply start out at the gate under those favorable conditions without the funds to do so, and that's exactly what Kickstarter is for, to fund the creation of this project and these teams required to run it for the very first time. After our campaign, it was our goal to provide the fastest turnaround we possibly could in the hopes of changing the fact that many campaigns took so long to fulfill. This was our mistake. We were simply too ambitious with our first announced fulfillment date and admittedly a little naive about what it would actually take to fulfill a project of this magnitude in 4 months. Again, this one is on us, and we have since learned the ins and outs of the timeframes each individual product takes to produce, along with the hiccups and errors that may occur during the quality control stage of each product, respectively. That being said, we are confident in how we would like to deliver timelines in the future and set ourselves up for success without missing the expectations of our dedicated fans and incredible community. All right, so that is true. That's exactly what Kickstarters are for, right? And I do see a lot of people being upset, saying that they've been scammed and all this other stuff. And unfortunately, that's the reality when it comes to Kickstarters is, shit happens, right? It ain't the first, well, something just happened. It ain't the first time that's happened before. It's not going to be the last. Kickstarters are notorious for being delayed. And again, the writing was already on the wall for this. We even fans of NomNom like myself, we already knew that there was something going on. And so the fact that they are taking, responsibility for everything that's going on. And you'll be able to see that here shortly. But yes, it is very important to keep that in mind, that Kickstarter is specifically for startups, for companies that are making new products. And yes, there will be hiccups along the way. I mean, we've seen printer changes and all sorts of things with other, big trading card games that have come out like Sorcery and whatnot. And so that's essentially where this is leading. Spoiler alert, they're going to be changing printers. And now the reason for it is in this letter, in which we will continue with this now. So quality control. This has always been a top priority of ours. This is the reason we had 4 runs of prototypes. We know what you're thinking. 4 runs and they still don't have it right. You're correct. Working towards getting it right is exactly what the prototypes were designed for, because when it comes to the final look and feel of this project, we have no room left for mistakes. We will never sacrifice the quality of our game to simply rush products out. After this Kickstarter is fulfilled, there will be 0 changes to our cards for the years to come. So right now and the year leading up to the campaign are our very last opportunities to make sure everyone who dedicates time, money, and passion to this project gets exactly the kind of cards they deserve. We would rather have a multitude of prototype tests and work out the kinks there than release thousands upon thousands of cards that just feel meh. That being said, quality control right now is taking much longer than it will in the future when we do reach the point of 0 changes. What this means right now is that yes, things are taking longer than desired, but after this fulfillment, we will be set in our ways in terms of product quality, timeframes, etc. Now that you've heard an explanation of what's been going on thus far, this brings me to where we are today and the best possible update I can provide all of you at this time. Page 2. This is a pretty long one, right? So we have been unsuccessful in achieving the quality we are looking for with our current printers. it has been no secret who we have been working with all the way back from doorway packs up until now. If you look back, doorway cards, Halloween promos, and volume 3 and 4 all look drastically different from one another, all in an attempt at finding the look at our final cards that will come out of our Kickstarter campaign, Kaiju Horizons, Dino Dawn, and all future sets, which I think Dino Dawn hadn't been revealed yet, so now we kind of have the third set revealed, or I guess second set after base set revealed. So yeah, whatever, third set is Dino Dawn, so that's cool. Now, during the Kickstarter fulfillment process, we have undergone extensive quality control issues with the same company, this company being Rex 3, okay? Now, for those of you who have been following the project, Rex 3 is a US-based printing facility. They were basically partnered with NomNom from the beginning, making all of, I guess from volume 3 and 4 and Kickstarter, they have been partnered with Rex 3 for this, right? And so let's continue with this, right? So now during the Kickstarter fulfillment process, we have undergone extensive quality control issues with the same company to be not only the first TCRPG, but the first TCRPG to print in the United States. We have received the first product of our Kickstarter from our printers starter decks, and despite our best efforts, have deduced that the quality of this product is simply unacceptable. So, remember when I made that video a few weeks ago saying how for the last, I think it was like a month, we had only gotten updates regarding the starter decks. And from the get-go, I thought that was kind of weird, especially considering that it got delayed and that the fulfillment was supposed to be late September and then shipped to us, the backers, in October. And from the beginning, that was a pretty big red flag that we had only ever seen updates on the starter decks. And then the other red flag was the packaging change. So the packaging completely changed, and I'll be completely honest with you guys, the packaging looked just not of high quality from the looks of it. So that was another red flag, and then that gave a lot more questions of what's going on, and I kind of had a feeling that the printer was just fucking up at this point, because it's kind of one of those things where once a company puts in an order with another company, right, to distribute, to make their products, at that point it's no longer on us. We, for example, again, you guys may know I work with with a small family-owned business. I help my family out with the business, and when we get custom-made, equipment or custom-made products for customers, once we send the specifications out, at that point, the manufacturer of the product is liable to, do those products to the specification sent. And yes, we've run into manufacturing delays because they just weren't able to properly produce it. So I can give them some grace with this. I completely understand. I've been in their shoes. I've had to deal with angry customers because of delays, especially when you got major, big projects happening with, big commercial buildings and all that stuff. It gets very stressful. It gets very hectic. And it's almost like you're basically just handing the keys over to this other company to do their part of the transaction. You've done your work, they've done their art, they've done their cards, they've already got the packaging, they got all the specifications, and then at this point it was turned over to Rex 3 for printing. Now, I will say, and they're going to talk about this, closer, here in the next page or so, that yes, they should have pivoted earlier. I've had to do that myself in my role sometimes. The company that I work with, we've had to do that quite often, where once we notice an issue that we know is going to snowball, we've had to make that pivot. And it saved our asses a lot of times. And it just seems like NomNom did not pivot in time, hence all this, community backlash and just overall negativity that has been affecting the people who have backed the project. That people are angry. They got hundreds, thousands of dollars tied up in this product. They were promised a time window originally. And at the same time, that time window was provided by Rex 3. And so you're just kind of in this cycle where you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So let's kind of continue on. I just kind of want to give my thoughts on that I can put myself in their shoes. I've been in their shoes. It sucks. I completely get how they must be feeling right now. And it's the way that, us backers are feeling. Like, of course, we're frustrated. And I can understand that. And frustrations are okay. That's normal, and they're not shying away from it. So let's continue going through this. So we took a large risk working with a printing facility that specializes in sports cards such as Panini and Topps, but had a lot of hope and reassurance after visiting their facility right before Kickstarter printing began, and all of the promises they made us. However, at this time, the team has decided to separate from our current printers in the United States and move to a new printer elsewhere. There have been far too many hiccups and communication issues on their end, and while we have no bad blood toward the company, we simply feel they are not ready for our TCRPG specifically. This is due to the factors mentioned above, as well as their facility missing machines that are required to produce cards and packaging for our specs, meaning they need to send our cards to multiple other facilities to get A, B, and C completed. And again, I saw this coming too, because I was actually thinking, I was like, why, again, back to the starter decks. Starter decks have been shown off for 1 month straight. We haven't gotten any packaging updates or pictures of any of the other product being produced. And again, the packaging on that starter deck was just subpar, in my opinion, compared to what they had shown in the Kickstarter. And I immediately did think, like, maybe they're having issues producing the packaging, and that's what's taking so long for the printer. And so originally I'm like, well, maybe the printer's already done printing all of the cards for the Kickstarter, and now they're literally just waiting for the packaging to be made and the cards to be, sorted into the packaging. And so this makes a lot of sense, that the fact that, the printing facility just did not have the capabilities to do everything that they promised. And essentially now we're where we're at because of false promises or not living up to the expectations that the printing facility set. So it causes issues when our product is being shipped to multiple places before reaching our studio, leaves far too much room for error, and takes up far too much extra time that we cannot afford to waste. We truly believe that our fan base and future fan base deserve the fastest turnaround possible while also achieving the highest possible quality. And this just does not seem possible with our current printers, again, despite our best efforts. So we need to make this change now for the longevity of this project. So they are changing printers, confirmed, right? So question and answers. What does this mean? Isn't this going to set us back another X number of months? No, not necessarily. The team had all collectively reached a point where we realized if we stayed with our current printer, it was very possible that Kickstarter fulfillment would need to be pushed out to sometime in 2025, and in turn would have the same timeline struggles for future sets. Their premature timeframe promises and lack of TCG experience became far too worrisome for us, and though we wish we had the foresight to make this pivot sooner, it is undoubtedly the best possible move we can make as a company and for our community at this time. Well, who's the new printer? How do you know they will be better / more efficient? And why haven't you just hired more team members by now with all the money you've raised? By choosing to print in the US, about 80% of our Kickstarter funds were going to our printer, which is about $200,000. While the other percentages went to the production of our other products such as playmats, etc., we accepted this based on the promise of quality from our printer. However, now that we have decided to pivot, we have loosened up enough funds to hire a product manager who has a direct line to a printing facility of his own, giving us a bypass of the introductory stage into a new business relationship with said printer. The printer mentioned is already printing several successful TCGs, is well versed in what we need to succeed, and although they are not located in the USA, possesses all the required equipment to make it happen. I still don't see how this is considered starting from ground zero. Question, right? We understand the skepticism. However, all of our artwork, packaging designs, etc. is all currently ready to be sent to print. The only real adjustment on our end is going to depend on the templates given to us from the new printer. What this means is that all we need to do is plug in our artwork and UI into these new templates, run a few test prints, and off we go. What about the pixel foil you advertise in your Kickstarter campaign? We will ensure to meet any promises and expectations laid out on our Kickstarter campaign. This includes our super cool new holo foil that will be printed on our highest rarities. Look out for an update video from Victor and Brian, our new production manager, in the near future. Thank you again for your continued support and in bringing NomNomverse to life, the NomNom team. So let's kind of talk, and I'm actually gonna show you guys on screen here exactly who Brian is and who the new, I don't know what the printer is, but the TCG that that they're going to be, I guess, printing with. And let me see if I actually have that, because I thought I saw that recently. But essentially, new printer, completely changed printers, huge. Here's the thing, if you actually think about it, right? The original timeline of 4 months to print all of the Kickstarter product, and in general, right? As of right now, they're not giving a hard date. However, and I'm going to pull this up here shortly. Brian, the new product manager, or I guess what was his title? Like, product manager. Brian did actually speak on this, and let me pull that up real quick. All right, let me go ahead and get down here. So you guys may not see too well here, but we'll just read it out loud here for y'all. So this is Brian. He's staff. So, hi everyone. I just wanted to jump on here really quick to address a few things. First of all, hi, nice to meet y'all. My name is Brian. I'm the owner of Knights and Summons. If you guys heard that, TCG, Knights and Summons, they actually have some pretty cool cards. I've actually seen them before in the past, so that's pretty cool, right? So he's the owner of Knights and Summons. Victor is a good friend of mine, and he came to me not long ago asking for help with the manufacturing side of things for NomNom. I had spoken to him before the Kickstarter had even ended, giving him a few suggestions that he was extremely adamant about. Giving him a few suggestions, but he was extremely adamant about the manufacturer that they had already started working with and remaining in the U.S. as far as printing goes. I highly advised him against that because I have a few years of experience behind my belt and knew that wasn't a very good idea, having attempted that myself. Fast forward to where we are now, we're now here. In that same time frame, we have produced and fully manufactured 3 complete sets with decks, collector packs, and Halloween exclusive promo packs to accompany all of that, and currently working on the 4th set as we speak. And I believe he's speaking about Knights and Summons, right? So I have immense knowledge when it comes to taking an idea and having it produced, and that is all that I'm here to help do. I know the rest of the team is... Where's it at? Oh, I just lost it. I know the rest of the team is scared to give y'all a time frame for good reason. They don't want to give y'all any false promises, and believe me, they all care about you guys, so much so that they refuse to send you all subpar quality product. Our cards, Knights and Summon cards, are currently hitting 10s and BGS, and I just want to make sure you all get that same level of quality in the product you all ordered. With all that said, I have set aside my time to make sure this product begins shipping out to everyone in the next 3 months, no later. Lastly, I did not tell the rest of the team that I would be taking the time to message all of you right now, and believe me, I am staying on top of making sure that everything finally gets done. The team already has everything ready to begin the printing process for all of you. They were all just unfortunately let down by the manufacturers they chose to trust with this project. All I ask is that you give them a break just for the next 3 months while we make this pivot, and I promise you all that within the next month and a half, we will begin sending you all updates with the printing process in progress. I'm going to even suggest to them to include something special for all of you that have been so incredibly patient with them. Again, they don't even know I'm writing any of this, but that's all I have to say for now. Back to work, and I hope all of you have had a blessed, fruitful weekend. Okay, and then Senpai Benjamin says, say hi to Brian. Cool, so Knights and Summons, right? Knights and Summons is the other, what do you call it, the TCG that Brian owns. Knights and Summons. Whoops. And so essentially, their cards have been consistently getting 9.5s and 10s through BGS. So apparently the card quality is pretty high up there. But you guys may have seen these guys on Instagram and whatnot. Typically, I followed like several TCGs, and obviously you start getting other TCGs that you can follow. And I've actually seen Knights and Summons pop up on my newsfeed before. So here are the type of cards that they produce. Obviously, there's not these are just the artworks, but this is Brian's baby, I guess. He owns Knights and Summons. He's a creator of Knights and Summons. And so that's kind of where the project is currently at. Again, all the flags were there. I figured there was something going on, especially with the printer. It didn't seem, especially if you look at the quality for volume 3 and 4, nicked corners, whitening all around the edges, etc. It was pretty obvious that there was something going on. So now I guess it's sad that, I guess it's disappointing that we're getting delayed yet again. But I kind of figured that was going to happen. I didn't expect to get it, so soon. Originally I expected to get it the second time, but then once I started seeing there's not really much information being released, I kind of figured there's going to be another delay happening. It was again, and I think the problem that people have, or the problem that people had to begin with, was that the moment there was any signs of trouble, right, and people started questioning, hey, like, what's going on, right? The team were sticking to the gun, saying, like, no, like, as of right now, it's still end of September, and fulfillment in October. Like, that's still the timeline. And I mean, I can kind of see why they would say that, because they were probably already in talks to get rid of the printer. The problem is, it didn't do well to quell, I guess, the not only just the impatience of people, but also, people have good questions like, well, like, what's going on? I mean, again, when they showed off the starter decks, I did not see a single person even mention the product change, like the product packaging change. I didn't see anybody mention like, oh, look at how the starter decks are in like this weird cellophane pack. I didn't hear any of that. And so like I pointed it out, and I'm glad that they started answering more questions and whatnot regarding that. But this should have been communicated to the backers way ahead of time. They should have communicated like, hey guys, we're having issues communicating with, our printing facility. We're trying to get to the bottom of this. And maybe again, they're trying to operate in good faith with that printer. Maybe they're trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. And unfortunately, that just caused a lot of, I guess the word is vitriol within the community. There's a lot of people that are very unhappy with what's going on. They're not necessarily because they're impatient about the product. I think people are just upset because they're just not being communicated with. Again, the only communication we keep getting we were getting was, hey, there's a tournament this weekend and Kickstarter product is still slated to arrive within this month. And again, the only pictures that we ever got were for the starter decks and for the starter deck packaging. And that was a huge red flag for me personally, that they were having some sort of issues either manufacturing the product or the packaging. I was really hoping it was just the packaging, because at least at that point, if the printer got all of their cards printed out and they're just waiting for packaging, like that's an easy sell. Like, hey guys, like everything's printed. Here's pictures of the uncut sheets. Here's pictures of this. Here's pictures of, the play mats and whatnot. If that was the case, I think people would be less upset if they were just like, hey, we're just waiting for the packaging. They had to get it shipped out. But it's the fact that it was just very quiet for too long. And, and then to top it all off, then there was other issues with the Spookala promos that people were getting upset about regarding the quality of the promos. And it also harkens back to the fact that their old printer, Rex 3, just could not print their promo cards either. And so then they had to outsource the promo cards to another company. And so it's been a manufacturing nightmare for the most part, from what I've been reading and seeing. And so I'm hoping that we will start getting more updates and for the team to be a little bit more, I guess, transparent about the issues going on in the back. Like, again, in my opinion, if they would have just told us, hey guys, like they're telling us it's, September, but we're having issues. Like right now, they've only printed the starter decks, and maybe you would have still had people panicking, like, oh man, they're not going to fulfill it, or oh man, this. But at least people would know what's going on rather than be upset that they don't know what's going on. I don't know, but I guess it's tough either way. Again, I can put myself in their shoes. I've been in their shoes. I know what they're probably going through. I know the frustrations and all that when it comes to manufacturing delays especially for custom product. I get that 100%. And they're right. They probably should have pivoted back when it got delayed the first time. If they saw these red flags popping up from the very beginning, with their first few promises being broken, they should have probably pivoted back in July. Because from February to July, they should have, or June actually, they should have been producing all these cards, and they didn't, man. So like from February till September, they produced the starter decks. Now, if that's one thing I am very happy for, is that if it took them that long to just produce starter decks and the packaging for the starter decks, then God knows how long it was going to take to produce booster boxes, blister packs, etc. So I'm hoping that it's true what Brian said, that within 3 months we can get that product into us. So as of right now, it seems like the Kickstarter product won't be here till 2025, Q1 2025, in my opinion. That's not confirmed. It's just based on, if Brian said 3 months is his goal. We're in October. That would put us up somewhere around January/February. So it would be about a year from the day that the Kickstarter went live to product fulfillment. Now, a year is pretty standard for most Kickstarters, at least the ones that I've backed. that's not too bad. I mean, heck, I've backed video games that have taken 3 or 4 or 5 years. So I was actually pretty shocked that they had originally given that time frame of, in 4 months we're going to be able to get everything printed and all that. So I was pretty shocked by that. So we'll see, man. But that's kind of where NomNom currently stands. It is delayed again. Printers have been changed, hopefully for the better. It seems like it's going to be for the better, and I just hope that we actually do start getting product updates and pictures. And the best way that the team can actually make this up to the backers and to the fans and to get people excited again for this project is just going to be clear-cut communication. Show us what they're producing. Just show us, if they're making the starter decks, show us the packaging of the starter decks. Show us the starter decks themselves. Compare the old quality of the old cards to the new cards to kind of get people like, you know what, this sucked, but I see the difference that this new printer is making. This will be worth the wait. So that's all I got for you guys today. A little bummed about it, but again, this was something that I kind of saw coming anyways. And hopefully we'll start getting some more updates pretty soon with the new printer and just better communication regarding the production process. Because again, from February when the project completed till now, the Rex 3 printing facility really only had starter decks complete. That's ridiculous. So looking forward to the changes, looking forward to the future. I'm hoping, again, please give us more information about the production side of things. Show us the production side. Any chance you guys get, show us the production of the product. Blur out the cards for all we care. I just want to see, actual packaging. I want to see, the cards being worked on. Show us a prototype Ralph from Rex 3. Compare it to the new printer. Show the different that's something that's going to have to happen, man. All right, and actually, I did forget. So I'm still here. Sorry. I actually forgot to mention what they're actually going to be doing with the Kickstarter product that has already been created, right? Has already been produced. And obviously, the only Kickstarter product that we're aware of they ever even made with Rex 3 is going to be those starter decks, which I went over in my last video, and then I went over in this video. So kind of like a little bit of background here, in Spookala, they did give away some of these decks to people who played the game. According to the people who actually went to Spookala and played NomNom, and the team over at NomNom, people had a really positive reaction to the game, and so they let the players who showed up take the decks home. Now, that itself was a whole other little conundrum that the community had with them, because they felt like, people who didn't even back the Kickstarter got a hold of the cards first, and in NomNom's defense, they're just trying to expand the game, so I can understand why they did so. And so now that this information about them getting a new printer is out, Victor did say that they're basically going to be giving away the starter decks that have already been produced by Rex 3. I'm assuming to all the Kickstarter backers of the project, and I'm assuming they might have some more in community giveaways. Now, that itself is a whole other can of worms, right? 80% of the budget for the Kickstarter was allocated to Rex 3. Now, because Rex 3 really only produced, the starter decks for them, granted, that's what we've seen. Who knows if they've actually started printing other cards as well. That also is like money down the drain in a sense. And so I'm glad to hear, though, that by them going with this other new printer, it will actually cut costs down to print, which obviously they're going to need it after Rex 3 kind of dropped the ball on their end as well. So any sort of money that they can save, perfect. And so they also, again, as you guys heard or saw me go over right now, Brian got hired on by the team specifically for this. They were able to, kind of free up some of the money they had with Rex 3 after they decided to go a different route. Again, financials, I don't expect for them to go over. It's anybody's guess how much actually got used up with Rex 3. And then that also kind of goes into hey, it seems like they still should be fine to produce all of the Kickstarter product. But will this actually push them back a little bit on the other product that they had planned? Or are there other ways that they plan on, kind of raising funds, right? Maybe they're going to launch another, and the reason I'm turning this on is so I can show you guys, maybe they're planning on doing another sort of, promo packs for cards. So I did get my Spookala promos. I didn't get a Holo Ralph, but I did get these two Holos, right? Oh, sorry, wrong one. I did get the the two Holo Game Ghost hits, like the bigger hits, right? And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, man. The quality on these non-holos is not good. Like, I can definitely see why they decided. And granted, this isn't Rex 3. This was like a last-minute printing decision that they made just so they could have promos to sell at Spookala. Basing it off of, I think they had 2,500 of those packs. Basing it off of the fact that they're each $25. I would assume that each pack probably cost them, after shipping, maybe like $7 per pack, $8 per pack to produce. And I don't know, man, 25 times 2,500, they would be looking at $62,500 in added revenue. I know for a fact that's 500 of those did sell on the whatnot. Was it what? I'm sorry, Drip. So I know for a fact 500 did sell on Drip. I don't know how many actually sold at the convention, but I'm assuming that they're going to have to drop maybe some sort of holiday promo soon. That could be, I guess that would actually be a good idea if they can come out with some holiday promos where, they give us the opportunity to see exactly the quality of the new printer. I don't expect them to be free. They might. I mean, I know that Brian did mention something about potentially adding some extra goodies to the backers who have been patient and all that good stuff. So who knows? We might be getting some cool promo cards where we get to kind of compare and contrast on the Rex 3 printing, like the Rex 3 promo cards that we have. So definitely hope to see better quality, especially compared to the Spookala promos. I trust that the new printer will, in fact, have higher quality cards. And so that's kind of where we're at. I just figured let me get back on here real quick and add that because I thought that was pretty important. So we should be receiving, based on what Victor has said, we should be receiving those, I guess, technically prototype starter decks that Rex 3 printed. So cool. I just hope we get more information, I guess, more readily available information going forward. And I hope that they make the AMAs something, especially during this process or during this wait. I really hope that they make these AMAs a more consistent, occurrence. I know that they are still going to be making a video. I know that they're still, the AMA has not actually happened yet. Reason being is they said that a lot of the questions pertained to the printer issues and where the product was, and that's why they released that statement. And so there's going to be a whole other AMA, especially now that they've released this information, where they should be giving us more information and answer more of our questions regarding the new printer, and we'll go from there. So again, I really hope going forward, we get more clarity into the back end of things, like even a simple, like, hey guys, we printed, I don't know, like 1,000 starter decks today or this week, or like, hey, this week, this is what we've done. Because there's a lot of Kickstarters that do that. There's a lot of Kickstarters that like every week there is an update. It doesn't matter if they didn't do much. It's just the fact that there is an update that is happening, whether it's like, hey, this week the team worked on this, and this. And this is what the facility is doing on this, and that. That's all we need, bro. All we need. Like, I'm pretty sure we get those I'm pretty sure we get those sort of weekly updates. A vast majority of people will be, yes, they're going to be disappointed that it's not here yet. But if we're getting weekly updates and we're getting updated, updates with pictures here and there, that's all we need, bro. I can wait an extra few months as long as I'm getting constant information. It's only a problem when, you keep waiting for more info or more pictures and more proof. And, yeah. So hopefully this was a pretty big learning lesson for everybody involved, and I think it was. And going forward, they're going to share more information regarding the Kickstarter production. And then from then on, it's going to be, the next major set, Kaiju Horizons, followed by, what was it, Dino Days or something like that? I can't remember what it was. It was like Dino Dawn, right? Like, from then on, it's just like, hey guys, teaser. Here's new cards that are coming out. Here's how the meta's gonna be changed up, So, yeah. That's all I got for you guys, man. Let me go ahead and turn off my light because it kind of looks weird. Oh, there we go. Cool. Yeah. So that's basically it, man. Pretty big update, and hopefully we'll see more soon. So, see y'all later.